purpose of this video is to, and I have a list of stuff here so I don't forget to say some things. The purpose of this video is what's involved in precision shooting as an individual and as part of a club or a group, which we have here. We have right now 38 members. We pay dues and we pay a fee, a small fee, every time we enter a competition. Now, of those 36 members, we also take turns being the marshal or whatever it takes to volunteer to actually, run an event. So, without having said that, I want to get into what exactly is involved in precision shooting. Well, the first thing is you have to keep in mind that it's a little bit different than plinking, shooting at cans and bottles and things like that. It takes a lot of practice. It requires discipline, as I said, and a lot of practice. It's not like you just go out there and start blasting away at stuff like you see on some videos, or the trick shots or whatever. It's not unusual for someone to shoot 1,000 rounds a week. It takes that kind of practice. You have to control your breathing, your jitters. Everybody here shoots bipod or bench rest, so we don't have any offhand or standing alone shooting, because that's not precision. That's what you call plinking or just plain old target practice. I shoot between 800 and 1,200 rounds a week. That's a lot. And that's just the way it is. We shoot at distances of 25 and 50 yards. Now that sounds, well, that's awful close, but it is akin to shooting long distance. 1,000 yards, 600 yards, with the center fire cartridges and rifles, and it's because of, and you will see that on the targets I'm going to show you, that at 25 yards and 50 yards, the targets we shoot at are just as challenging as any long-range shooting that you see on videos and things like that. The targets we have very small bowls that are 1/4 inch in diameter or square. That's almost the same size as the 22 long rifle round, and to hit one of those, even at 25 yards, to get a dead center is, let me put it this way, it's not impossible, but it's not something you see every day. We do multiple targets when we set up our stands. We'll have on a sheet of paper, as you're going to see, there can be anywhere from 5 to 25 targets on a sheet of paper. We use 8.5 by 11, and we have our own custom-built stands that we use, that we have made, and I'll show you those in a later video. Okay, we do have our firearms now. We have 6 classes, and they're all 22 long rifle. We have semi-automatic and bolt-action rifles. We have semi-automatic and revolver pistols. And we have single shot for both rifles and pistols. The bolt-action rifles are the most popular here in our group, with the Ruger Precision Rifle Rimfire and the CZ450 series rifles being the most popular. Semi-automatic pistols is second. Of course, everybody wants to shoot those. And you'll see a lot of the Browning semi-automatic pistols, and probably the most dominant of all are the Ruger Mark 1, 2, 3, and 4 series pistols. The ammunition we use, normally in a competition, most of the competitions, we allow you to use whatever ammunition you want. Now, I did a video on what's the word I'm looking for, on sorting ammunition versus like the Ely and the expensive ammunition. And most of us actually, we shy away from the expensive stuff, and we do our own sorting and weighting. We with gram scales, we sort and weight, and with the rim thickness gauges, we sort our own ammunition to do our shooting. like I said before, high-end ammunition we kind of shy away from. It's too expensive, and it's just it's really not worth the effort. And besides that, I'd like to be even with a box of like Ely or Green Tag or any of those, you're going to have flyers, you're going to have inconsistencies. I did a video on that also, and compared the Green Tag, weighted weighted out a box of 100 Green Tags, and it's no different than anything else. I think it's more like a marketing ploy than anything else. Okay, on the competition formats we use, and I'm going to show you some targets to explain all this. We have timed and untimed, and in the timed ones we break those down further into bolt action and semi-automatic, because obviously a semi-automatic will fire faster than a bolt action. And there's practice comes in there too, to how fast can you shoot with the bolt action. And I'm going to show you a small video of some of that stuff too. And then we have also a shooting competition to where we shoot unsorted ammunition. We give each person a box of whatever we pick that day. It could be a CCI Standard Velocity. It could be a Gila Super Extra. Sometimes we even go to the Western X and the Browning, which I have found to be utterly worthless. And most of the people that are in our group also agree to that. And then we also have with the unsorted stuff, it adds to the challenge. You have to it can increase your skill sets and the challenge of shooting unsorted ammunition, because you're going to have stuff all over the place. It's pretty tough to do, and we sit there and kind of laugh about it, and say, oh geez, it can get to be pretty funny at times, just to have a good time. And then we also do things where we make everybody zero out their scope, to put both of the reticles in the zero position, halfway between one end and the other, and then shoot with that. And then put the caps back on the scopes, and there's no adjusting the scope, and you have to adjust on the fly. That's also a lot of fun, and that can help you too if you're going to hunt. When you've got moving targets and they're moving closer to you or away from you, it helps with that if you're also a hunter. Anyway, that's about it. Now I want to show you some targets. Like I said before, that I was going to use targets for explanation. I'm going to show you some blank targets that have not been shot, and then I'm going to show you some targets that have been shot, and to show you, this is good, this is not good, whatever, or this is fair to middle, and we'll go into that. Okay? I'm going to have to pause the camera and turn it around so you can actually see what's going on, and we'll show the blank targets first, and then I'll show you the targets that were shot by most of them by me, some by some other competitors. Okay, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, this is a target. You see here that it has 25 smaller targets on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It's one shot per target. The targets are actually, the little small yellow targets are actually 3/4 of an inch in diameter, or square, and the red bow is 1/4 inch. Now you'll notice down here we have a lot of information. We all shoot these, even if we're just practicing, because we like to keep a record of what we're doing. We have 2 or 3 different ones like this that have different information on them, depending on what we're doing. So that's the first one. Now here is another one. This is round. Set that in there. This one is round, and there's a whole bunch of them on here. There's 1, 2, 3, 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 49 different targets on here, and you can see that the information on this one is a little bit different as well. These are 1/2 inch in diameter on the dark black circle, and 1/4 inch bowl. One shot per shot on this one here. Okay. Now we have here's a speed shooting. Okay. This is, and I can bring it in on here and let you see what it says on this. Oh, wrong way. It says you score 10 points for every red dot hit. Hitting any portion of the red dot scores as a hit. You have 60 seconds to complete the target when shooting a bolt action, and 45 seconds when shooting a self-loading rifle. So you get less time to do this. And this is, for, like I say, for speed shooting. Okay. Down here, let me get down here, we have for the shooter's name. These are all for competition. The firearm, the date, the time, point scored, the witness who saw the shooting, and and the signature of the actual shooter. There are 25 targets on there, and we just go from there. Okay, here's another target. We use this one a lot. The yellow target is 1 inch in diameter, and the bull is 1/4 inch in diameter. I'll bring it in a little bit so you can see these a little bit better. Here we go. That's all you really need to see on that. Let's pull this back out. And we have one here. Usually we do 3 to 5 shots each on this target. It is 1 1/4 inches. Those are 1/4 inch. No, those are not. I don't know what those are. I think they're 3/8 inch diameter. Anyway, we use this one from time to time. We use this for practice a lot. Then we have the same thing here again. These are actually 1/2 inch in diameter. You can see the difference here between the two on the size of the grid. This one has 16 targets. The thing down here is a little bit different on the other one. And then we have another target here that we use too. This one has 15 targets. You get 3 rounds. This is at 50 yard. And we go down here. Let me get it down. There we go. The yellow is 1 1/2 inches in diameter. The red and the white is 75 or 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and the black bull is 1/4 inch. Okay, and that's the target. And we use all these different ones all the time. These are the ones we use. Okay, I'm going to take these off because I don't want the white background on there. And we'll go to some that we've actually shot. This is with an RPR, and these are all 22 long rifle. I used the Aguila rifle match at 3.3 grams per round, 50 yards. There was no wind, it was clear cloud cover, and let me pull in on these a little bit so you can see them a little bit better. Okay, these are kind of like what you want to be able to accomplish when you're ready to do a little bit of competition. Now you're not going to win with the scores on this one, but kind of remember that you're looking at a 1/2 inch box here, and this is 1/4 inch in diameter. So these are all within 1 and in fact, I think every one of them on here, yeah, are all going to be within 1 inch at 50 yards. So, you know, and everybody, you know, and a lot of people talk about, well, 1 inch at 50 yards is pretty good, and it is. There's one right down here, right in the middle there, that's not a bad shot. I don't think there's any other ones on here that are that good. Now the one way over here at the end is pretty good, the one on the left. So that's a pretty decent shot. And if you can keep them within that middle box, that's 1/4 inch, or that's 1/2 inch in diameter, that's not bad. And most of these are at least within that. There are 2 of them there that are pretty decent. So let's go on to the next target. Pull this one off. This is probably one of the most favorite targets we use that people like to shoot. The yellow target is 1 inch, then we have a 1/2 inch, then a 1/4 inch diameter, and you can see here that that's a very good shot right in the middle there. That's almost dead center. And these are all pretty much within a 1/2 inch. I don't think there's one. This is what you strive for right here. These are all within a 1/2 inch. And those down at the bottom weren't shot. Whoop, wrong way again. So this is the kind of the kind of a target you want to see when you're shooting competition. This was a good day for me. Okay, let's go on to another one. Here's the same thing again, same target again. We got a lot of these, but like I say, this is one of the favorite targets that we shoot. This one here also has them all within a ½ inch. Here's the hit here. I'll bring it in a little bit. And you can see the holes here. You see again, all within a ½ inch. Most of them are within 3/8 of an inch. And some are almost completely in the bowl. There you go. And this was not a bad day either. And this one was one of my not so good days. A couple of these were really bad, as you can actually probably see already. Over here, I don't know what happened here, but it was not good. Anyway, there are a couple of decent shots in here. There's one good one there. Whoop. Let me pull it back out a little bit. There we go. That's pretty decent. That one's not bad. The rest of them are, there's one almost dead center right there. The one on the right. And I know this is going to be a little bit of time, but I want you to understand and see what you're going to have to expect to be able to shoot this stuff. Let me get a couple of these out. This was just practice. These are all 50 yards. And this one is, again, the 3/4 inch grid with the 1/4 inch bull. Some of these are not really all that good. I think I just changed ammo on these. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But some of these are not very good. This would be a less than average day shooting. To give you a comparison to what the other ones were. There's a decent shot there at the back, and the last one on the right. And another one. This one was a friend of mine, who's also a competitive shooter. We were out just messing around. And I think these two were unsorted ammunition, if I remember right. You can see here that there's some of these, because we were just fooling around, we were shooting sometimes 2 or 3 shots per target, just for chuckles. And we sit there and make bets, a nickel for every one that's in the red, and you pay a nickel for every one in the yellow. So it was something that we do, If you had the bullet all in the red, in other words, dead center, you got $1. And this one right here was awful close, that one. But it's not, so that's the way it goes. And then we have, let me find some other ones here. We have the larger targets that we shoot, and these are multiple shots per target. We don't use these very often because they're just, I don't know, they're just not really popular. When we do it, we do it. We use these a lot for the unsorted ammunition competitions, where everybody gets exactly the same ammunition. We hand that out to you. You get a box of it at 50, and we bang away with it and have a good time. So, going here, the Red Bull is a ½ inch. I'll just tell you that, and the white is 1 inch, and that's really all you need to know on these. You can see there, that's not too bad. And a couple of flyers. And that one's pretty good for unsorted. And that one's got a couple of flyers on it, but other than that, it's a very good group. And that one's not too bad either. Okay. And this is the fun of shooting competition, precision shooting. this one here is all 1/4-inch grid, the whole thing. And this was in a competition too. The grid is 1/4-inch square to get 5 shots per target. If you hit the white bull, you get 8 points. You're in the yellow, you get 5. You're in the red, you get 4. The gray is 3. The green is 2, and the really dark is 1 point. Nobody ever scores 1 point. In fact, this was just it was probably an average day for me. This was, my number is on there. It's J10111 or 011. That's my shooting number, and my score was 104, which is just average, maybe a little bit above average, but that's about it. I mean, there's some decent shots in there. That one's not bad. You know, can you figure that's less than an inch, so that's not too bad. There's probably the best one right there. That's 5 shots. That's pretty good. That one is, nah. And that one is really bad. And that one was not shot. Wrong way again. So these are the kind of things that we do. And you want to see a really bad day? This is the kind of a day you don't want to have. This is precision shooting with that one. And I only scored 60 points on this, and that was absolutely terrible. Okay, and go in there and get a good look at it. First shot was really good. I mean, that's a damn fine shot. And then I started getting off for some reason. I don't know why it happened, but I wasn't even coming close. Then I got back on again on the left, and pretty much the same. And then I started moving away from the target again, and I couldn't understand what was going on here this day. You know, that one's yeah. I mean, you see that you go along, and you get further and further away from the bull, and I don't know why that happened. This shot down here was pretty decent. That was almost dead center. But this was not a good day for me. In fact, it was a really lousy day. I said, in fact, I didn't even sign it down here. I just said, the hell with it. I only scored 60 points, and that's bad. That's really bad. And then we have another one here, and this was kind of like the same thing again. This is what you don't want to do. Okay, bring it in on this. Another bad day for me. You see that a lot of them they're all over the place. There was no wind this day, and it was just, you know, some days you're on, some days you're not. You know, you get the yips. You don't even know you have the yips, and you sit there and you start trying to figure out, and you make adjustments one way or the other without messing with the scope on the fly. And you think, okay, now I'm on, and then all of a sudden, boom, now you're not. And it just, you know, it happens to every shooter. And these are the days that you just kind of laugh it off and say, well, okay, next week or tomorrow or whatever, okay? Let's pull that one out of there. Ugh. I can usually tear something like that up. And then we're back to, this was a pretty decent day. This was just practice. Go back in here again. I'll take a look at them. So these are pretty good. This is a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1 inch targets. And I think almost all of them, I mean everything was within 1 inch, I think, except maybe one. And so that was a little bit better than average day, for me anyway. Now, am I the best shooter in the group? Not by any means. I'm probably, oh God, I don't know. I'm in the top half, I'll put it that way. But and I'm also the oldest shooter in the group. None of them even come close to my age. I'm 75. And most of them are in their late 20s, early 30s, or late 20s, 30s, or early 40s. There's a couple in there that are in the 50s. I don't think there's any in the 60s. There may be one, but I'm the only one that's even close. I'm probably almost 20 years older than anybody else in there. And I get the yips from time to time. I don't even know if I want to show this one that much. There really isn't much to it. It's a 1/4-inch bowl. There's a couple in there that are good. Most of them are just average. And here's another one that you don't want to do. This is really bad, but I want to show it. This is another one that, you know, everybody shows their good stuff. Well, I want to show the bad stuff along with the good stuff. I'm going to say this is what you can expect on a bad day. Okay, these are the 3/4 inch, or the 3/8 of an inch bowls. You know, there's one that's got 2 of them dead center right in the bowl. But this is not a good day. In fact, this is a really bad day. Down here I just got frustrated. I just did bang, 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 bang. Look at these two. Oh boy. You know, and I kept thinking, well, maybe the scope was off, but it wasn't. It was me. That's just plain old me. Because this is all the rifle match. This is sorted, and it was just, I'm going to say, a really bad day for me. Now, a lot of times people are going to say, well, yeah, I mean, all of those are kill shots if you're hunting, for the most part. But you know, for precision shooting, this is really, really bad. This is not what you want to do. Okay, but when you're first starting out, and this is probably pretty much what you can expect. You know, like I say, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of practice. A lot of those were shot on the same day, and it's just the way it is. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to put a little bit of the live video, and then we'll call it a day on this one. So we'll put the live video on, and we'll... Okay, I'm going to shoot the 22 Rimfire Super Extra Aguila at 11:30. It's just over supersonic, and at 50 yards I know it'll drop below that. But let's see what they do. I got a bunch of it to shoot up here. Wow. It did drop, didn't it? See how that does. And it's a little better.